back, everybody, to another episode of Three Bros and a Mic.
Yes,
you know who we got here, man. We have our special guest back with us again.
Hey, man, she came back.
She came back.
Hey,
Most
incredible
this lady
baby.
right here, Miss Vaughn. You know, we got Mike, we got Mark, we got Zay on the end, and J Mac right here. Episode today, man. Gaslighting. Ooh, buzzword, right, Mike?
Right.
Yeah, man, it's a big one. It's a big
So
one.
before we even get into it, man, Vaughn, can you please give us a good explanation of this word?
Yeah, what is it?
What
man?
is
Yeah, we
gaslighting?
gonna go right here to Google. Google say
Break it down for us.
gaslighting is a form of psychological manipulation in which the abuser attempts to sow self-doubt and confusion in their victims' minds.
Okay.
So that happens every day.
Definitely,
Yes.
definitely.
Y'all got anybody got like an example?
I don't really have an example, but I'm gonna just say out the gate, man. It seems to be like a very, very popular word, a very popular topic. So if I could open the floor up to y'all, if we could take that word and rewind that back to when we was growing up, the 80s, 90s, or whatever that might look like. What would that interpretation of that modern definition look like for somebody that ain't in this era? I think manipulation was pretty straightforward, right? Psychological manipulation.
Right.
I guess this looking at the signs of gaslighting, right? Denying what happened
Right.
is another sign of manipulation in a sense. You're denying what happened. Like you were there,
Right.
you saw what happened,
Right.
and you mean to tell me with your own two eyes you gonna sit here and tell me
Right.
that that ain't happened?
You ain't see me at that diner with that girl.
Right.
Right.
Where's the proof?
Right.
Where's the
Where's the
proof?
proof? Oh, it's on my phone.
Man,
That ain't me, bro.
that ain't
me.
me.
That
I don't
ain't
even
me.
wear hats like that.
So
Yeah.
that,
Right.
to me, that goes. I feel like what we talked off camera, man. What Mike said. That's like borderline delusion.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Right,
so-
right. So you have pathological liars,
Right.
right? They lie and lie and lie continually to the point where they believe themselves, right?
Right.
So I mean, I guess I'm trying to just delineate the difference between
Ooh,
a gaslighter,
delineate.
a liar, right? A
How do
gaslighter,
you spell that?
Right.
come on, man.
Spelling
A
bee.
gaslighter,
Shout out
a
to
liar,
Xavier, man.
and somebody that's delusional, right?
Right.
Like, I mean, because the way that it's been presented and it's been thrown around, you know what I'm saying, today has been like, well, I've been a victim of someone gaslighting me. And so that's like I've been a victim of somebody lying to me or being delusional about something that I know that they did. But the way that it's been presented is if though like I've been victimized by their delusion.
Right.
Right.
So it's almost like you're agreeing with their delusion, or you almost thought to agree with their delusion to some degree.
And they're making you second guess what you thought you knew.
Right.
Right, as Vaughn read.
As Von read.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, no, I know I saw you at that diner. I
Yeah.
know.
Right.
Wait, was that really you?
Right. Yeah.
Right. Man, it's like second guessing your own self.
Right.
But is it similar to like? Because I'm a First 48 fan, so
Ooh.
Yeah, the shout out
like
First
these
48.
guys or a person getting called in for interrogation and they didn't commit the crime, or maybe they did commit the crime, and they sit and try to make it seem like the proof that we have before you is not you. Even though this you in the picture, that's not you. Even though we got you on camera walking out of that thing, it's not you. So you telling me it's not you, or is that just you dumb and you caught?
Right. Right.
Ooh.
That's true.
Right.
That's true.
Deny,
That is form of
deny,
manipulation.
deny.
That's
Right.
true. They keep saying, so you sure it's not you?
Yeah.
Right.
So,
You know.
oh, go
That's
ahead.
true. Go ahead.
No,
bro.
I was going to say, man, she went to Google. I was like, let me go to Google.
Right.
Yeah.
Question was, why do some people gaslight others? Here's what was
Intentionally.
Yeah.
Right. It says the typical goal of the gaslighter is not just manipulation, but power and control.
Yeah,
Right.
for sure.
Yeah.
Right.
For sure.
Typically
For sure.
with the misguided cooperation of the manipulated victim. This type of learned behavior is often rooted in psychopathy
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Serial killers
For sure.
and
or
stuff.
a
For sure.
personality disorder,
Disorders,
Right.
like antisocial narcissists.
Yeah.
Right.
So how do y'all feel about that?
So is it something? Would y'all say like if you're in a relationship with somebody, it's like you don't need no other friends. You just need me. Why you need anybody else? Like we're
Yeah.
good. We're
Is that
the best
gaslighting?
best as a friend. Like could
Yeah,
that be a
it
form
could
of
be.
gaslight? Like
Yeah, 'cause
why
you're
would you
trying
need to hang out with
yes,
anybody else?
That
You
don't
need-
really follow the
That
framework
sounds
of the
like
definition
scary.
entirely.
Right.
Like I think it's part of it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Which means it's not completely the
I
definition.
don't
of-
think it's a completely
Okay.
the definition of.
Okay. So if you add to that and say you don't need anybody else because
Right.
you go take a little step further,
Fact.
like because everything they give you, I can give you that more.
Or
right?
say, your significant other comes back and be like, man, I got into it with, Keisha, whoop, 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 whatever the situation may be. You see, this is why I told you.
Blase,
This is why I told you it should only be us two. You see what happens?
Right.
When you go out and you try and go out with your friends, that's why it should just be us two.
So let me ask this though. So when does it become gaslighting? Does it become gaslighting when he says that, or when I believe it?
Right.
That's what we're talking about, right?
Right.
Are you the gaslighter or are you being gaslighted?
Right.
Right,
You the
yeah.
victim
And
or
I
not?
think-
Right.
that's what I'm- right.
That's what we're
Facts,
talking about.
yeah.
And I think that's the
both
way
ways,
it's been
maybe.
presented has been like, well, I'm the one that has been gaslighted,
Right.
which means that like
Victim,
there was a
victim.
call and response, right? So
Right.
yeah, he delusional. We get that. We established that, right?
Right.
In court, he is a pathological liar. He's not going to admit to that crime, right? We get that. But like when I believe that, oh, he ain't really commit that crime, or when I believe that this delusional person, may not have done that or may have done that, then I'm the one that's been gaslighted. So I can't call. I mean, yeah, he's a gaslighter. He's a culprit, but
But then at the same time,
I know what you're saying.
I'm not
You
trying
saying-
to. I want to be sensitive,
It-
man. But
I know you saying like,
You allowed
yes,
it to-
granted they're victims, but at what point do we hold them accountable for
believing-
allowing somebody to gaslight them? Right?
Right.
Yeah.
a liar gonna be a liar, right? How many times you gonna tell me the sky is pink and it's not?
Right.
but then at the same time, being the one that's being gaslighted, it affects you
Right.
mentally.
Right.
Yeah.
For sure.
For
It's a
one
form of
side,
abuse.
because now you don't want to speak up.
Yeah.
You got anxiety. You got depression now.
Right.
You're starting to it's like self-doubt.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because now all of a sudden you were this vocal person, willing to stand up for yourself, and then the person that you were in love with or that you want to spend the rest of your life with, whatever the case may be,
Yeah.
now they're telling you, now you tripping.
Right.
That ain't what's happening. You got it all back. It don't even have to be about cheating. It could just be about finances. It could be about
Right.
Anything.
Anything,
You about the
right.
dishes.
Yeah.
Right?
Anything.
If your girl or if your man tells you, hey, do dishes, you trying to do dishes before I get home, 'cause I got some people coming over, clean the kitchen up a little bit, and you do it to what your level of doing it is.
Right.
Facts.
Then when they get home, I thought I told you to clean the damn dishes up.
Right. Yeah.
But I
right.
did put it up.
Right.
Nah, see, this is what I'm talking
Nah.
about. This is why you can't get along with always arguing because you can't do basic shit like that.
Right.
I told you. Like, whoa, what you talking about?
Right,
Where this
yeah.
coming from?
Yeah. Right.
Gaslight.
So
Do they have an age limit on gaslighting? Do children
No.
gaslight?
No. I don't think so at all.
Kids don't gaslight.
No, I think
that's
no.
what-
You
yeah,
saying
fact.
they don't have an age
No
limit?
age
Yeah, no
Gotcha.
age
Nah,
limit. Yeah,
facts.
See, but
sure.
then-
Kids gaslight their parents all the time.
Yeah.
though.
Right.
That's the problem, though.
Facts.
But then what
Facts.
I mean-
happens? What happens then? The parent, if the parent is the gaslighter, or if the child is the gaslighter, whoever's being gaslighted now is walking on eggshells
Yes.
the entire
Facts.
time.
Right.
And how healthy is that going to be in your relationship?
Okay.
Right.
It's
With,
not.
with your parent or with your spouse
Yeah.
Right.
or whoever? It could just be a friend.
I'm about to say
Anybody.
friendships too. You can get gaslit in friendships too.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I would hate for the bros, even Vaughn, because she's our special guest today.
Right.
Yeah,
Like,
shout out to Vaughn.
for us to be hanging out and I can't talk about something
Right.
because of being afraid of what you're going to say.
Right.
That is, to me, a definition of manipulation and a type of gaslighting. You have control over my mouth
Yeah.
Right.
to the point that I don't want to say nothing because of what you're going to say and twist it and flip it and to make it look good for you. And you're going to be playing the victim and you're going to make me to be the person that is
Right.
coming at you.
Right.
And I'm coming from a warm place,
Yeah.
but you're taking,
Right.
you get what I'm saying?
Right. Trying to bring you into the cover up.
Right, yeah.
Everybody
When they
say,
know
like,
it's wrong, but
What's
you
wrong with you?
bring them
You
in.
used to always
Right.
say something, man.
Right.
I can't say nothing, man. You know?
Yeah. So let me ask y'all this though, right? So for the person that's doing the gaslighting, right?
Yeah.
Who's to say that that's not their truth? Like if they genuinely don't believe that, you know what I'm saying?
That's the
Yeah, that's what they want you to believe. Right. Yeah,
No,
that's
no,
what
no, no. Because look, I'm gonna give a real good example, right? Right? Because
With
Vaughn
COVID.
used one that was very strong, right? And I'm gonna let you take the lead on this, but you talked about how off camera, how just the way you talk, right? You may refer to people as, oh, hey, babe, hey,
Yeah,
boo,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like to that effect. And if I was dating Vaughn and I'd be like, why are you talking to, guys like that? You know what I'm saying? Like, or why you talk to people like that?
Yeah.
And you're like, well, that's just genuinely how I talk. And I'm like, well, I don't necessarily believe that. I think you're gaslighting me. Like, I don't think that you actually talk to people like that. Like, so what's to say that, like, it's like, who am I to question whether that's true or not for you, right? So it just it seems like the ball keeps getting tossed.
It
back
seems
and
like
forth.
they're both doing the gaslighting.
Yeah.
You know what
Well,
I'm saying?
like I was saying, like I think just to respond to that, like I guess it would depend on the certain level of self confidence that you have or lack of insecurities that you may have, like, and getting to know me. Like once you getting to know me, you're gonna see like I call everybody babe, sugar, sweetie, love, all the things.
Right.
And so then you would see like I'm not gaslighting you. But if in your mind you still think like, oh man, I know it's got to be something behind it, then now you need to start questioning yourself.
Facts.
Yeah.
So now it sounds like insecurity.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's kind of seems like when you peel back the layers, it seemed like that's kind of what
They go hand in
they
hand.
go hand in hand, right?
Yep.
So
on some level, yeah.
You know, I guess,
So it just sounds like gaslighting is a normal, everyday thing.
Yeah.
and it's just how you like how it bounces off you,
Right.
you know, or how it sticks.
Right.
And a lot of that may boil down to your fortitude or your security or insecurity or lack thereof, right?
So can you gaslight without knowing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
facts.
That's just like
Yeah.
committing a crime, right?
Yeah.
You don't need intent to commit a crime.
Right.
If you can still, the action could have happened without you even intending it to happen.
Right.
Right.
You still getting arrested, you're going to jail.
Yeah.
So I can gaslight you without even knowing I'm doing it,
Yeah.
and then circle back around and hold down.
So then,
Right.
so then if that happens and somebody calls you out on it, then you say, "Nah, that wasn't me," and
Right.
now we back at it again.
Now you circle back around.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Wow.
And
So
that's-
I've been gaslighting all my life.
Right.
Right there. See,
Right.
Right.
Basically.
Golly, man.
So you're saying that, okay, so like I guess scenario, like Mark got a work event or whatever, like the situation may be. He has to work the crowd or whatever the situation may be.
Okay.
And say it's like 90% female or whatever the situation may be, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then somebody else looking at it from the opposite end of like, Mark, man, why you using all those people, those, females' faces and stuff like that? And Mark is like, nah, man, I'm over here handling business. He was
Right.
like, and the other person's like, nah, bro, you was going to the max with that, bro. So then in Mark
And
mind, it's
90%
like,
females out
right,
there.
yeah, like,
Look too
yo.
happy.
So yeah, so then would it play in Mark mind like, damn, did I really go too far? Like,
Yeah.
was I being too friendly with it? You know what I'm saying? So now in my head, like, oh man, I thought I was just being strictly professional, but somebody else is bringing it to my attention, like, I went across the line. So is that like an example of gaslighting?
Yeah, that's
It
it. Sound
could
like
be.
one. It can be, yeah.
Right.
And then
It
maybe
sound
the fact that he questioning mine was going across
Right.
a little borderline.
So how do you recover from being gaslighted?
Right.
Get out.
Self like
Awareness.
yeah,
Right.
self-awareness exercises to
Right.
help boost confidence.
Know who you are,
You know what I'm
right?
saying?
As a
Like,
person, right.
meditation, prayer,
Yeah.
like repeat like words of encouragement to yourself.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
watch a Kobe Bryant video, like
Right.
anything,
Mamba mentality.
anything,
Mamba
anything to get that,
Mamba.
yeah, to get that
Right.
mind
Right.
going, man. 'Cause, like,
Reciting Invictus over and over again.
Invictus
Right.
over and over
Right.
again.
Shout out.
Shout
man.
out to Rudy Dark Clipper. You know what I'm saying? But
Because go ahead.
no, I was just
Right.
inside it. But
Now I'm with you. Go ahead.
I
Right.
said get out.
Get out.
Get out.
Because if you know somebody gaslighting you, why you gonna keep yourself in that situation?
Right.
Like that doesn't make sense. Especially when you have the potential to not be able to self heal. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
yeah.
Mm.
You might as well just leave the situation, remove yourself from the situation.
So they say here there are four top forms of gaslighting.
Right.
Gaslighting takes many forms, but they say here are the top four.
Gotcha.
First one is outright lies.
Mm.
An outright liar.
I think we can agree on that, right?
Facts.
We can all
Yeah,
agree on that. All right,
facts.
go ahead.
So, like, for instance, they're jealous of me, so they make up lies about me,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Okay.
Number two is manipulation of reality.
Right.
Right.
We've been talking about it.
You are wrong. You never remember things correctly.
See?
Thought
One
you
at
saw
the
me.
diner?
You thought you saw me.
Hey, them damn dishes.
Right, yeah, facts.
So number three is scapegoating. So it's your fault I'm angry.
Right.
You
Oh,
always
we.
try to confuse me.
Right,
Which is
yeah.
what we haven't touched on yet.
Facts.
Yo, go ahead, Mark.
That's being scapegoating is huge, bro, and it happens more often than we think because we don't talk about it, right? We don't
Right.
point. It's easier to point out manipulation than it is scapegoating sometimes.
Right.
So I think relationship wise, if we take a step back and we say again basic stuff, we talking about dishes, cleaning, handling the kids. If somebody is looking for an out. And you give them an inch, they gonna take them out.
Right,
right.
All day, every day.
Right.
If that's the intent, right?
Right.
I mean, so yeah.
Yeah. And the last one, top four, is it? I can't never say this word right. Coercion.
Coercion.
So they say the example is you're being overly sensitive and prudish.
Right.
So having a certain type of control.
Bro, I hate that word, bro. I hate that word, man.
Yeah.
How many times somebody called you overly sensitive or too sensitive
Right.
Right.
on anything?
So I'll give you this. I'll give you this. I agree with you, bro. Because a lot of times people will come at you and say, you're not sensitive enough.
Right.
Or
Right.
we want you to share your feelings.
Right.
And then when you open that door and you give me that trust that I can do that,
Now I'm too
They be
sensitive.
Now I'm
smart.
too
Yeah,
sensitive.
man.
Right.
now
So-
you want me to
That's a
cut back.
very
Especially for
narrow-
men,
Oh,
and that's the
absolutely.
frustrating
Right.
part.
Right.
It's a
Because
bias.
Absolutely.
as a woman, we do want you guys to express yourselves and communicate
Just not too
better
much.
and all the things. And it takes a different kind of female to accept and appreciate that level of sensitivity.
Appreciate it. There we go.
There you go.
And if you're dealing with a female that may have lacked a real man in her life growing up, and she don't really know how to receive that, and she don't really, or maybe the man in her life growing up was too strong, never cried, never expressed themselves, just
Right.
always was quiet and just being the manly man.
Right. Never said I love you.
Right.
Right.
She don't know how to
Right.
receive that. So
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
just depending on what you're dealing with.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got to come into the situation, man. In that regard, to what Vaughn was talking about, with an open mind,
Right.
because you have to go in there with no judgment.
Right.
Like I want my man or my woman to express themselves because I see that they have something inside of them that needs to get out,
Right.
Right.
but they're trying to find an outlet, and
Right.
I don't want them to have their outlet in the world.
Right.
I want them to have it with someone they can trust,
With me.
Yeah.
Right.
right? With me,
No-
with
no
the-
judgment zone.
or a
Right.
or a family
Right.
member, somebody.
Right.
And I don't have no issue if my wife says, "Hey, I feel more comfortable." Talking to a therapist, or I feel more comfortable talking to my mom or my sisters. I am okay with that.
Yeah.
The fact that she's got somebody,
To talk to.
An outlet.
an outlet. Because, now, granted, I'm not saying everything
Right. To a degree.
Right.
to a
Right.
degree.
Right.
But if there's some things that, I need a woman's perspective on.
Facts.
By all means,
Right.
go.
Yeah.
Because that shit, we talked about this before, fellas. What I got going on, sometimes I can't bring that to my wife.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Facts.
gotta bring it to somebody else.
Right.
To the fellas.
On the male perspective, right?
No doubt.
Because she may be able to just say, yes, okay, I understand, but not really, be able to come back with a suggestion
Yeah.
that is
Right.
befitting for my situation.
Right.
Right.
So,
Facts.
But I mean,
yeah.
I can appreciate a certain level of sensitivity in a man, but
What is too sensitive for you, Vaughn?
Give a
Bro, I'm about
specific
to say.
example, Vaughn. Like,
First-
you got
first
to break
of all,
it
you
down.
gotta
like-
think about who.
You gotta have the edge.
I'm about to say you got.
Yeah, you got bad boy. You got to come.
Right,
You
right,
got to
yeah,
start at the
fact.
point for that. You
Fact.
can't.
no, I mean, like, granted, because I feel like humans cry. You're gonna
Right.
cry. You're gonna
Yeah.
feel, sentimental about things. You're gonna feel emotional about things. But sometimes it could be a situation where you're dealing with a person that just cry all the time. Like, you cry more than you talk. You cry more than you.
More do you talk?
Yeah,
Wow,
like
that-
everything is
There's
like.
something deeper going on, Vaughn. We need to figure out what's
Yeah,
going
it's pretty much, I know what it was, but
You need to come on the couch with us.
on.
So
therapy, man.
example.
You need to lay
So,
down,
Vaughn,
right?
example. So
Therapy, man.
if we watching, I don't know,
rom-com.
we watching Amistad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going back. Man, we watch Amistad,
my
Give us
and I
sleep.
start crying like,
Right.
man,
No, I love that.
you know what I'm
I
saying?
think
But
that's
we trying to watch Avatar tomorrow, and I start crying.
Again.
No, I love that. Like, you have a reason to cry.
Oh, you
Right.
do?
But I'm
Okay.
talking about a person that just cry
For no reason.
and be looking for attention.
Me-
Oh,
meaning like what?
And
Like,
just like, I don't know,
my
like,
job was just today was hard.
yeah, or like, you don't ever listen to me. Like, oh my God.
Well, do you listen to him? though?
Yes.
Right,
Yes.
In a way, they
I
need to be
mean-
listened to, Vaughn.
Right. But
Maybe
how
you
much
ain't-
listening? Like, what are you saying? Anything?
I don't know.
I'm
It sound
listening,
like you-
but are you saying?
I don't know,
anything?
Vaughn.
You
Sound
may
like
be gaslighting.
sound like you gaslight.
Yeah, I'm about
people
to
over
say.
there.
gaslighting?
It sound like you might
No.
have been gaslighting.
No.
I'm telling the man,
I
you
mean,
too
I'm
soft over
really,
there.
I'm really open to, like, because I love for a man to communicate and express themselves. Like, that's a wide open door for me. Like, I love that. But sometimes it can be too much. Even vice versa. Like, a female can just cry too much. She just emotional all the time. Like, she got work she need to do on herself.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
to
For the next
address
guy.
some of those
Right.
emotions, you know.
Facts.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong because you may be just a sensitive person, but sometimes you have to know how to, like,
But
you
don't-
know,
but-
get a
Yeah, man,
get a
is it-
grasp.
But don't you
on-
also have to know your significant other or
Yeah.
friend, you have to know their triggers, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But if
Because-
everything
Yeah,
trigger
but she's saying
you,
like it wasn't no limit. Like, you know.
yeah, like everything
Yeah.
trigger you.
You know what
Right.
I'm
Come
saying?
on, man.
So have you
That's a
has a
red
woman ever
flag,
told
bro.
you too sensitive, bro? Any situation out there where it happened where you're like, say, I don't know about you, man. You
Man,
know,
I'm a water sign too. I'm a Cancer too. I can be kind of sensitive, man. So I think it probably has been situations where they say I took it the wrong way. And I think I have got gaslighted. And it was like, nah, that's not the way I meant it. How you gonna tell me how I feel though? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh,
so
yeah,
then you
that's-
kind of doubt yourself, like, man, like I was speaking about the other situation, more like the scenario. So yeah, I definitely had situations where they told me I'm being
Yeah.
overly sensitive about what happened.
Right,
Yeah.
and I think for me it's the same way, but it's like I have a hard time for me being full transparent. I have the way I think about saying it and the way it comes out, two different things.
Right.
Like the way someone receives what I'm saying, they say, "Well, dang, you being real harsh about that," and I'm like, "I'm telling you, that's not how I wanted it to come out."
Right.
But they're telling me, but this is how it came out.
Right.
And I am telling you, but that's not what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say it this way. And like, no, but you didn't say it that way. Like, it just goes back and forth,
Right.
back and forth. And like, what it does for me, it shuts me down.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Yeah, it
now
closes you out.
Right. And I just don't want to say nothing because then it's like, well, how you ain't saying nothing? Well, every time I try to say something, you hear it another way.
Right.
Yeah.
My tone is different or whatever the case may be.
Why you say it like that?
Why you
Yeah.
say it like
Right.
that?
But that go back to a previous episode we did, y'all. Intent
Yeah.
is sometimes it's less powerful than perception,
Yeah.
Right.
right? How I
Yeah.
perceive what you were saying don't matter. I mean, it matters more than what you were intent, how you said
yeah,
it.
for sure.
Because I
Right.
took it like this, so
Right.
that means that matters more than how you said it. You know what you
Fact.
meant to say.
And then
So
sometimes you may just have to work on your delivery.
Yeah, man. I think that's the big part.
Right.
So you got to just work. I mean, delivery, yes, but I think I try to focus more on the content of what you're saying.
Right.
not how you say it.
I try to look past the tone, like, because sometimes I've been in situations where people's tone, they're angry, but when I take out what you're saying,
Right.
oh, I see what you're trying to say. You're just angry about it,
Right.
Yeah.
and I try to just remove the tone
Hey.
and just hear, like, oh, you mad about this,
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
You're not
okay,
That- hey.
okay.
That's a skill right there, Jim. Man.
It is.
Sometimes when
Hey.
somebody
Hey.
that tone, that shut me down
But you
right
know-
there
you
off
know
the
where that
rip.
comes
Right, I
from?
triggered
Right.
right there. I'm
You know where that
triggered
comes
now.
from? That ain't no degree from Morehouse or my other degree from St.
Where it
St.
come
Joseph.
from? Where
It
it
comes
come
from
from?
watching my mom and my dad.
That's it. That's
Because
it.
watching them, the way how they interacted,
Right.
I kid you not, I didn't see it till I got to high school because my
Right.
parents were very good at closing off arguments
Right.
from me and, well, at least for me, I don't know about my sister,
Yeah.
but I didn't really see it till I got to high school, like them really not going at it like an abusive way, but like
Right.
having a
Right.
disagreement.
Have an
Right,
adult,
yeah.
adult
Yeah.
argument.
And
Right.
then
Yeah.
seeing like how my mom would talk to my dad, and he couldn't decipher what she was really trying to say,
Right.
but my mom can do it with no problem.
Right.
Because I don't think it wasn't that my dad didn't know my mom. I think my mom just really understood my dad,
Right.
Yeah.
and she understood what he was going through at work. She understood what he was going through at home,
Right.
and she took all of those variables
Right.
and said, "Oh, he ain't really tripping off me.
Right. This is
He
what's
just
going on.
expressing himself."
Right.
Yeah.
Fact.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Fact.
So when you're in tune with your spouse,
Yeah.
That takes
then you're
time, bro.
able-
Right,
Oh,
fact.
oh,
Like I
absolutely.
was saying, that takes time to learn.
Facts, yeah.
But you got to be. But then it goes back to red flag. You got to be willing.
Yeah.
Be willing to sit through that.
Right.
Like
If
Mike
you
was saying, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If
Look
you
at it as a
really-
precaution instead of a necessary
Yeah.
red
Right,
flag,
yeah.
If you really
like a
care
hard
about
stop.
that person,
Right, fact.
if you really care about that person, you see a future with this person,
Yeah.
then you're willing to deal with those flaws,
Yeah.
those red flags,
Yeah.
Right.
and try to help them, along the way. So,
Fact.
Yeah. And let me ask y'all this, man. When did this whole gaslighting thing become popularized? Like, was it a movie or something? Like
Social media.
social
Facts.
media? But
Yeah.
so
I think because like I've dealt with a narcissist before, right? And I didn't really realize the depth of the behavior until I would see like different posts on social media. And like people talk about narcissism, they talk about gaslighting and stuff like that. But like when it's in your face on a regular and you seeing it, you scrolling and somebody done posted something else about gaslighting, or a celebrity like, oh yeah, she's divorcing him because she's been gaslighted for this many years, and this is like it's in our faces more.
Right.
I feel like
Yeah.
with social media
No
as
doubt.
opposed
so
to
it's
because
definitely
people
not a
been
movie.
gaslighted for years.
Right.
And I feel like it seemed like like a very common like storyline for so many movies that we done seen in Lifetime shows.
And we don't know.
And
We don't even know what it was.
We didn't put a buzzword on it because I'm just
Right.
like, this kind of sound like that Jennifer Lopez movie, Enough.
Heavy.
To some degree.
Heavy.
on that one,
Yeah.
man.
Like,
That's a great
manipulation
movie, too.
crazy.
Facts.
Like, we've been introduced to gaslighting a lot longer than
Yeah.
So two things here. One, a comment was made on Google. Gaslighters are not born with it. They pick it up from social experiences.
Of course.
What Vaughn just said about social media. And then it says here that the term gaslighting is derived from the title of a 1938 British stage play called Gaslight, which the whole stage play, when they went back and looked at it, all the techniques and things that are happening now was happening in that play in 1938. Manipulation, lying, coercion, all that was happening in the play.
Right. Wow.
Scapegoat.
Ain't nothing new under the
It's been
sun,
around
man.
since 1938.
Man.
It's just taking more
More presence.
prevalent now.
Yeah.
Because and I think social media plays a huge role.
Oh, yeah.
Because if we didn't have the pandemic, I think social media was popular.
Yeah.
But it didn't pop off until that pandemic
Oh,
hit.
it exploded then, right?
Exploded. So now
Yeah.
everybody's expressing themselves online, right?
Right.
And now you're getting all this gaslighting happening
Right.
and
Ghosting.
manipulation happening.
All the things.
And like,
Right,
like
yeah,
who was it? Is it Kevin Samuels? Rest
Oh.
in peace.
Oh, yeah.
His whole situation.
Right.
Like people I used to hear him say all the time, man, all he's doing is gaslighting these women.
Right, yeah.
Right.
And they sign up for it. They come back for it.
Right. Hey, they
Like,
ready.
y'all making his show.
Right.
Over
He's
there
telling
ready.
the truth.
What?
Like I think
He said he just telling the truth. Talk nice, Jimmy.
Right.
But like, here's my
Right.
thing.
Right.
Is there gaslighting? Is that a form of telling the truth?
I don't know. I'm gonna go back to what you
feel like
just
it
said
can be.
about it. They're not born, because I do feel like that's a real psychological issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Like that's a real life mental issue.
100%.
Right.
And so I feel like, that you are. I mean, maybe it's something that you can develop based on your life experiences.
No, it needs
Right.
therapy. Like, I mean, yeah, it's a real
Yeah.
psychological issue, man.
Yeah.
So, like,
No doubt.
whether it's pathological lying, you know what I'm saying, serial killer, whatever it may be, like,
Right.
it requires some serious, deep
Right, man.
therapy, right?
Right,
Yeah.
facts.
A lot
They
of
said
cleansing.
they said like a lot of people who call themselves gaslighters, they got it from experiences that started at home.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So they saw it with their parents, or they saw it with their family members, or friends, and it just carried on.
Right.
So is it that gaslighters can't think for? Well, not that they can't think for themselves. That's not.
I mean,
It's
there's
learned
environmental
behavior.
learned
Right.
behavior.
Yeah.
Right.
You prey on the weaker. I mean, it's-
Right.
that's just how it is.
Right.
It's,
Right.
you know.
Control.
Right.
Right. So it's like
Power
when they
control.
little, like the children are little, like, yo, it's my turn with the teddy bear. No, Miss Johnson said I get to keep it for this long.
Yeah.
It's like, no, Miss I just asked Miss Johnson. She said I could get it.
Yeah.
No, Miss Johnson said I could keep it.
Right. All the way
Right.
back in preschool.
Right.
Boy, you just tricking me there.
Right.
You start thinking bad, like, hey, man,
Yeah.
Really?
I had a friend that definitely, I won't say she's a gaslighter, but she definitely gaslit me.
Wow.
Or
Okay.
gaslighted me. She I had told her some confidential information about myself or experience that I had. And
Okay.
she was the only person that knew outside of the other person that it involved.
Right.
And it got back to me.
Mm.
And because we're friends and we've been friends for years, I addressed it with her.
Right.
She was like, "No, I didn't say that. I didn't tell them
Here we
that." I
go.
was like, "Yes, you did."
Prime
Yeah,
example.
to-
No, yeah, I was like, "You were the only person that knew." No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. And I'm like, she was like, "Well, maybe I did. I'm thinking maybe I did. Oh, I'm so sorry if I did that."
Oh,
I was like,
wow.
"What?"
Really?
It's real messy.
Right.
Like
yeah,
the fact
messy,
that I'm
straight
telling
messy.
you, you're the only person that knew, aside from the person that it involved, you're gaslighting me.
So my
Right.
question is, when you heard it back to you,
Mhm.
was it word for word what you just said, or
Word
did she add something
for
else to it?
word,
Word for
word for
Word
word,
for
Wow.
like as if you were there.
Dang.
Have y'all ever done that before? Like, have you ever just threw a bait out there just to see.
And see if it'll come back to you like
Right.
a boomerang.
Play a game
Like
of
a boomerang.
telephone.
Right.
Yeah, game of telephone.
Yeah, you have to, especially if you have a suspicion of something going on, right?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
if it's a mole in your group,
Right, it's a
Yeah.
rat
your
in here,
circle,
man.
man.
Somewhere, right?
You're trying to get spread about your circle, man. You look at it like, wait a minute,
Right.
let me explain something, see what happened real quick, man. You know,
Uh,
yeah.
Flush them out.
Yeah.
Right.
Flush them out. Flush them out.
Right, yeah.
That's crazy.
Have y'all experienced any? I mean, I know we talked about gaslighting like within like the family structure, so relationships, parenting, kids, whatnot. Have y'all experienced it like in the workforce or heard of it being done in the
Vaughn
workforce?
Yeah, I'm about to say the situation with like what Vaughn said. Yeah, I've definitely
day.
experienced that before. Like you tell a coworker in confidence or something like that, and then to get back to you, he's like, "Yo, Zane said," like, "Huh?"
Yeah.
Like, man, I told you that, and good. Now I know, and it was just something basic, but now I know how you
I can't
operate
tell
and
you
stuff
nothing.
like that. Yeah.
Right.
No, I ain't say that, Zane. All right, cool. I see how you moving.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
That's it.
Right.
That's just
Yeah.
lying though, right?
Right,
That ain't
yeah.
gaslighting. That's just somebody just
But
straight
it's
up
like
just
Vaughn
lying.
said, like
That's
they're
the type
gonna
of
make it
gaslighting.
seem like no,
Then-
that's not what happened. I
Right.
definitely didn't say that.
Right.
Yeah, that's
So
They're
that's-
trying to make you second guess
That's
what
what-
actually happened.
Right, yeah.
Oh,
That's when
okay.
Now you
gaslighting
looking at
comes in.
everybody else
Perfect
like,
example.
man.
Yeah.
So what's happened to me, I remember this very well. My first year teaching back in 06, man. You had a teacher lounge, and my mentor teacher told me never go in the teacher lounge.
Oh,
She said, 'cause when you go, especially at that school, she said because whatever you say in that teacher lounge, it's gonna come out a whole nother way.
Right.
Right.
I was like, yeah, okay, she old. I ain't listening. So I go in there and I hear everybody else just talking about their kids.
Right.
And I was like, oh wow, it's a safe place.
Right, yeah.
Everybody
This is
just
a safe
talking.
zone. This is a safe zone.
Oh, okay.
So I, yo, James, how's it going for you? First year teacher. I'm like, man, let me tell you about. So I just went on it because I needed an outlet.
Right.
So I just started talking.
So he thought.
And I
Right.
So I thought, right?
We got him.
Right,
We got him, guys. We got him.
Got this new guy out of here, man.
Next thing I know, man, I get an email from one of our instructional coaches,
Oh wow.
and she pretty much said she wanted to meet with me. And when I met with her, she told me what was told to her, and it was embellished. It was
Oh yeah.
it was added. It was
That's the game of telephone.
That's
man.
it right
Yeah,
there.
so-
right, yeah,
So, Mr. Woodborn, did you put your hands on a kid?
Right, yeah.
No, real
You be
talk.
smacking-
Real talk.
Oh, whoa.
Mark, I was about to say that. So what it was, I had a third grade teacher had an argument with a third grader. Get that? An argument with a third grader. I didn't know no better. I didn't know no better. I was trying to put my, he was testing me, and I didn't know how to step off. So I kept going at him, going at him. But I never once put my hand on him, because if I did, all my kids in my class would have told everybody.
Right, yeah.
Black kids, come on.
Right, fact.
So, but no, that back then they didn't have cell phones, thank God. But it wasn't.
World
video.
star.
06, man. So, I told her what happened, man, and she was like, well, I'm just saying, 3 or 4 teachers told me this, and I'm like, all I hear is your story.
Right.
So it's like, yo, word, like that's not. You ask the kid,
Right. What happened?
you know what I'm saying? So I definitely get it from the workforce.
Yeah.
It's sad that you can't just go to work
Right.
and have somebody that you could just talk to.
Right. Because sometimes you just
They don't
need to
have
get
your
it
best
out.
interest, right?
Right.
Yeah, man.
Not at all, man.
Don't trust nobody. Man.
It's hard, when you find somebody you can have a conversation like that with and not feel like it's gonna leave the room.
Right.
That's hard to find. You got to hold on to that. man.
Right. As soon as you walk off, they telling Tom, Dick, Jane,
And
Lisa.
Harry, right.
What about y'all being an adult like we are now, right? And then you have like this slight memory of something that happened from your childhood, and you address it with your parent,
Oh wow.
and they be like, "No, that didn't happen."
Yeah.
Is that
I was there.
gaslighting?
Yes.
Right. Is that
Right.
gaslighting?
Or they
or
like
is
what they say. I don't remember like that.
Right.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
That ain't how that went.
Right.
According to the study, memory loss is not one.
Right.
I was there. It was me and you.
Right.
I was there. I don't know.
Is that a form of gaslighting?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess
it
it
is.
Oh,
would
heavy.
be.
Heavy.
But no, but like honestly, I might be a dumb statement, but we're talking 40, 50 years ago.
Yeah,
Not
and if
everybody's
they,
memory is going to be
right,
that
that's
sharp.
right. I was
Right,
gonna speak
yeah.
on that. I was gonna speak on that. Yeah.
Is that still gaslighting?
Is it still gaslighting?
Right.
Because, like, again, if that's legitimately their truth, no
Right.
manipulation,
Right.
their truth is just like, I mean, I loved you your whole life. If I put my hands on you, it was probably because I felt like I needed to.
Tough
But, like,
love.
I don't remember it the way that you telling me, son.
Right.
You know, and if that's what they genuinely believe, right? Then
facts.
So
I mean, you can't
It's a
force
good
nobody,
one.
right? Yeah, I guess.
So then there's an age limit on gaslighting.
Right, because now look, now you saying the elderly get along with
statute of
gaslighting.
limitations, yeah, for sure, for sure,
man.
for sure, for sure.
Anybody got any last words about gaslighting?
I mean,
just wrap it up in
yeah, I mean, it's a hot topic. You know what I'm saying? It's a buzzword right now. I think I've definitely got some clarification. I have a crystallized understanding of what gaslighting is.
I learned a lot in this episode.
You know what I'm saying? So thank you, bros, Vaughn, for
gracing us again with your presence.
For sure,
putting that on there.
Right,
for sure, for sure. But I think I have a genuine understanding. But I mean, I guess my only takeaway is that it seems like it's something that is that occurs amongst a lot of people.
All day, every day. It just happened right there while you finished that statement.
Right.
Subconsciously.
That's it.
You know, so.
That's it.
And I think, too, it's great that, we're bringing attention to the subject because, this could reach somebody who didn't even realize that they were being gaslighted.
No doubt.
Or
doing the
didn't,
gaslighting.
or didn't know what it was.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Facts.
So this is good.
100%. 100%.
Man.
Yeah.
Hey, man, look. 3 Bros and a Mic with our guest, Vaughn.
Yeah.
Beautiful Vaughn.
Yeah.
Thank y'all for
I
tuning in,
really
man.
had a good time. Thank y'all so much.
Awesome.
We'll see y'all next time.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Ah.